What is up, guys? Welcome to this small little series that I decided to make. In this series, I'm going to be rating all of the extreme demons that I beat in the future and that I've beaten previously already. Very fittingly, today I decided to rate Loochiverse, which was my very first list demon and also just a very memorable part of my GD career. With this, I will be rating the levels by their decoration, their song choice, and their gameplay. The level begins with Waffle's part, which I cannot personally say is exactly the greatest decoration of the level. That being said though, I do not think it's bad by any means. While I think the block design is very empty, I still think it looks decent enough, to be honest with you, and it fits pretty well. The one thing that stands out in this part is probably the plus signs falling on the very top of the level. I think they look pretty nice. And the saw design, while very simple, fits in with the rest very well too. As well as everything else, the color grading is very, very nice in my opinion. Following Waffle's part, we have Kupazu and Nerhy's part, which instantly features a lot more color, which just on its own makes it that much better. I'm quite a big fan of glow, and in my humble opinion, this part uses it very well. That being said, the block design is also pretty empty and dry? I don't know. It's a little bit boring to me, but it still does fit in with the rest of it. And you can't really shit on much of the deco in this level. It was made in a week. I do really also like the air decoration in this because it uses the song note, arrow, and hearts, which I feel like you don't even really see all too much in levels these days, but I could be wrong about that. That being said, it looks very nice in my opinion. Now, the one thing that throws me off in this part is the ship and wave duel, because it just doesn't quite fit in with the rest of Kupazu's part because of just being outlines in rainbow coloring. Next up is Hypno and Nerhy's part, which to me is a little bit messy. And there's just a few things that I personally don't think fit with the rest of the part. For example, this little weird chainy looking thingy, I don't even know what that's supposed to be. It looks very weird. Also the little slits in the background, which I think those are supposed to be galaxies, but it just doesn't quite look right to me for some reason. And finally, the white tic-tac-toe structures. I don't know. They just don't quite fit in with it because of how like bright white they are. However, I do love the little buddies looking at you go through in the robot part. And also the background to me is it's pretty empty. I do like the stars, like the little dots, and I understand it's space, so there's not a whole lot you can do. But I feel like maybe something could have been added into the background. Next up, we got Nerhy's first part, which in my opinion is probably the best looking part of the entire level. I love that the structures look like spaceshipy, if that even makes sense, and that the stars from Hypno's part continue on through onto Nerhy's part very well. They fade out and in, and they're in the background, and with the glow as well in the background and the little windows, it makes the background look a lot less empty instantly. The color usage here is also really, really nice. I love how it changes from green to orange, then pink to blue/purple, and then to light blue. I feel like all of these colors would definitely remind me of space, which makes this part just look very nice. Now we finally get to the drop, and we start with Azuvi's part. And there's honestly not much negative things I can say about it, but there is just one, and that is those weird plain colored spikes and blocks that are simply one color all the way through, and they're kind of placed next to each other, and I feel they just look very awkward compared to everything else in this part. Like the block design and the spikes and saws, they all look nicer, but then you just have these plain random pillars with spikes. It just doesn't look that good, and they could have been a lot more creative with it. But other than that, it is a good looking part. Next, we go into Gig's first part, which, I'm very sorry Gigs, is definitely my least favorite looking part of the level. I'm really not a big fan of the rock blocks used here, and it's very, very empty. Like, genuinely, this is like the most empty background in the entire level. Also, this weird usage of those small blocks there is not very good. Now, of course, with bad things, there always comes a great thing. That is definitely not a saying, and I don't know what the fuck I just said. But we have Nerhy's part, and it is also very good, just like his first part. This is the part before the second part of the drop. The block design is very clean, and it fits really well this time, even though it is still pretty empty. I think it fits really well with this part. When you go into the second part of the drop now, you can see a lot more glow has been used on the structures, which makes it look even nicer in my opinion. And I especially love how the wave part at 73% looks, even though I hate that fucking wave with a passion. That being said, just like Gig's first part, the background is still pretty empty here. Which I get, right? Yeah, it's space, but like, again, with this part, I feel like there could have been something added with glow and other stuff. Finally, we have Gig's second part, which I'd be inclined to say is much better than his first part. Yeah, the structures and spikes are just black, with stars blinking in them. But the use of glow in the background and the bright stars makes it actually look pretty good. But the weird mass amount of glow on these blue portals here looks very off to me. But overall, this is a great looking part. Oh goodness, oh no. How could I forget? Looch's part. Oh my goodness, the final structure of the level. Great job, Looch. I think it's beautiful. I think, yes, it's very pretty. I think this is the best part of the level. The end screen of the level is honestly pretty good. I quite like it. But the one thing that throws me off is the person's face in the UFO. Overall, I'd give the decoration in this level a good 6 or 7 out of 10. It's not exactly the greatest decoration you'll ever see. I mean, you can't really say much though, because it has been made in a week. But I feel like there definitely could have been a bit more, if you know what I mean. Like, some parts are missing things, and some parts just have too many things. But overall, I still do quite like it. Welcome to the song segment, which I will go through just very quickly now. The song, Voluto by Aaron Music, is actually pretty good in my opinion. I do quite like it, even though people say it's very repetitive. I think it works well, especially with the gameplay and the decoration. Which, oh my god, if you love sync levels, then you need to check this level out because it works very well with the music. The gameplay in this part is actually pretty fun. However, the ship part at 4% was always very awkward to me, and it didn't quite get consistent like the other parts of this level. However, that being said, 0-9% is a very fun part. Pretty fun duel. Not a fun duel. This part was basically RNG for me when I was playing it, and I don't even really know why. Also, if you're curious, no. The wave serves literally no purpose in this part. Originally, the transition was very awkward for me, but I ended up thinking it was alright. The only whack thing about this part is the ball click and the robot part at 24. This cube copter is very awkward and not exactly very consistent. But that being said, it actually is really fun, and to this day, I still think it's a very fun cubecopter. And the spider part is free, so it's great. Oh my god, this part is fun. Like, learning this level for the first time, I thought it was the coolest fucking shit ever. But I do have something negative to say about it, which is the click here. Fuck this click. To this day, it haunts me. This part was semi-consistent sometimes, and the worst mind block others. But the only parts that really mind blocked me here was the beginning cube, the UFO duel. Other than that, this part is also pretty fun and decently consistent from time to time. This is possibly the most fun part of the level. Except when you're playing from zero. Like, dude, it works so well. And then it throws in the fucking 73% wave, which again is very consistent from start positions, but when you go from 0, it makes you want to jump out of a fucking 12-story building. And my proof is, I died there 8 times before passing it once from 0. Finally, the ending, which is technically just 77 to 89, because 11% of the level is the end screen. Nevertheless, though, it is good, except for the last part, which is a bit awkward, and under nerves, it is even harder, which thank fucking god I fluked it, because if I died at 89, I probably would have fucking cried. So overall, I would give Loochiverse a solid 7 out of 10. The decoration, like I said, pretty good. The song I really like, and the gameplay I found pretty fun. I definitely would recommend checking this level out. It's definitely not for everybody. Like, I've heard a lot of people say it's not a good level, but there's also a lot of people who would also recommend it, and I'm one of them. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll hopefully try to make some more of these. See you guys next time.